Israelites is United. I'm Sister Yaya, and we come together here to deal, heal, and build in the Spirit of Christ. We are a sisters group of Bible believers. We are Hebrews, Israelites, and Gentiles who serve the Most High God of the Hebrews. And we are live every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 1 p.m. Pacific Time. We are all about spiritual growth. We're all about trying to build one another up as we are working to put on the fruits of the Spirit as well. We're looking out for each other, trying to edify and trying to make sure that we're strengthening our sisters in our community. All right, so I just got done with the first topic, blow your trumpet. For some reason, there was an issue with my Instagram Live, so I don't know what happened to that specific live video, but we're moving on to the second topic. I was blessed to be a part of a discussion forum. It's called Bridging the Gap. It's a discussion or conversation between Black men and Black women in America. And the whole aim is healing our community. Our community is very broken and very fragmented. And there's such a disconnect between the men and women at large to where we need to take a step back as individuals and try to identify what these breakdowns are. And then once they've been identified, we can work to try to come up with solutions, Bible-based solutions, because we're Bible believers, and try to rebuild our communities. So that's what it's all about. This is actually the second episode. We had the previous episode, I believe, about a month ago. So it was very blessed. We had participants from various age groups, I believe, maybe from early 60s, late 50s, maybe, I think late 50s, all the way down to 20s. So it was a diverse group of men and women. Again, black men and black women. And it was very positive. It was very respectful. And we were able to tackle some pretty interesting, hard-hitting topics yesterday. One of the topics that came up and one of the questions that was asked was about whether or not single women, and I'm not going to say what the question was just verbatim. I don't remember the exact wording, but I can tell you what it was along the lines. It was something like this: are Black women, or why do Black women tend to raise their sons to be, and these are single women, so let me make sure I stick this, single women tend to raise their sons to be dependent and raise their daughters to be independent. And there were a lot of good perspectives brought forth and offered. A lot of good discussion points were produced, and that conversation went really well. One of the things that I offered was a story about how I've seen from different experiences, different parts of my life, I've seen some single Black women have the tendency to allow their daughters to do all the work in the home, and the sons kind of just be lazy or coddled, not really have much requirements of them, not really pushed to do much, not really pushed to have a strong work ethic, just be there, and they get sheltered and shielded and protected from whatever comes their way in life. I've seen single Black mothers be tougher or hard on their daughters and more lenient or less hard on their sons. And we talked about what the effects of that could look like, and whether or not a single Black woman could successfully raise a young Black man. And the consensus was, yes, she can do her best. All she can do is do her best. And even with the best intentions, even with the best focus, with the best efforts, she can only take him but so far. She could never fully help him learn to be a man. He can only get that fulfillment. He can only get that training from a man himself. So I thought that was very interesting. And again, I offered an example. I talked about how a woman in my family, when I was about 24, 25, a woman in my family had an 18-year-old son. And she contacted me while I was living. I had relocated to a different state. And she contacted me, and she was in distress. She was complaining that her son had just graduated from high school, which was great. That was a blessing. But he was causing problems in her home. He wasn't obeying her rules. He was becoming out of control. He didn't want to work. He was undisciplined. He wanted to stay out and do whatever he wanted to do. And she didn't really have any way to kind of keep him under control and help him become more productive. So for me, the solution that I offered her, because just like someone said in that discussion forum, and it was great wisdom, it takes a community. Even though someone may be a single female or woman parent, that doesn't necessarily mean that woman has to raise her children alone. Even if the man or the father is removed from the home or absent from their lives, she doesn't have to do it alone. And just like someone suggested, that will be the perfect opportunity to look for safe social supports that can help, because just like was mentioned and brought up, it takes a village. And I think we've moved away from that idea or that concept of a community helping to raise children, not just one person or one family doing it alone. So again, the solution that I offered the family member that contacted me for help, or at least just to call for someone to listen to her, I offered and said, send him to me. Again, I'm about 24, 25. He's 18. I told her, send him to me. So he comes and she sends him to me. And life with me was very different than life with her. I had a totally different approach, a totally different mentality. I had totally different expectations and rules and standards. And I let him know there's no laziness here. You will find a job. He had, I think the only work experience I remember is mowing lawns or cutting the grass. And we put his resume together and we made that work. I told him he had an expectation to meet. He had to go out and he had to apply for at least 5 jobs per day. And this was something that he'd never experienced before. He had a lot of structure. He knew the expectations and he knew what the standards were. And I would check. I would make sure that everything was being followed and met. And within a month's time, he had landed 2 good paying jobs with barely anything on his resume. So he was able to step up to the plate and work those jobs. One job required him to get up about like 3 a.m. He had to travel by local transit. And then from there, because that local transit only took him but so far, he had to walk an additional hour to get to his job. And then walk an additional hour to get back to the local transit to get back home. He did this faithfully every day. Left one job, went to the next job. He was doing very well. And I was supporting him along the way. However, we did have a situation where one day we had some kind of disagreement and he became disrespectful, and he said something that was very disrespectful and hurtful. And I just put him out my house. I said, you have to leave. I will not tolerate that. So when his mother heard about that event, she contacted me and couldn't believe I put him out. And she said something to the effect, how could you put him out? He doesn't know anybody out there. It's just you. He doesn't have any family out there. And I just had to let her know I have the same concerns you have. I'm worried too, but I will not accept that type of disrespect or any disrespect. I will not. I will not tolerate it. He has to go. I'll pray for him. He has to go. It was time for him to stand on his own 2 feet as a young man. And by the grace of the Most High, he did. Just like I mentioned in the discussion forum, the Bridging the Gap, it was sink or swim, and he swam. And it's just a wonderful thing because today he's very successful. Today he makes 6 figures. And from time to time, he contacts me and says, thank you, because what you did changed my life. That structure, instilling that hard work ethic, helping him become more disciplined, responsible, and accountable for his behavior, helped him transform into a more productive young man. And he recognized that. So I really encourage women, if you are doing it alone, don't coddle your sons. Don't do it. That's hindering their growth. We need them to be strong because society is not going to be easy on them. They're not going to have an easy time, an easy ride. Inside the home, instill a good work ethic. Let them be accountable for their behavior. Teach them responsibility. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. Even if there is no father in the home, what social supports do you have? Do you have friends? Do you have safe people in the family? Uncles to help fill that gap and help that young man to rise to his role. Help him find what he's supposed, his purpose. There are even community organizations for young men to help teach character development, help them learn skills, help them learn a trade. So I'm just giving encouragement because I believe if a woman is forced or placed in a situation or a circumstance where she has to raise her son alone, it's quite possible to still produce a productive young man and help him rise to his purpose, to protect, to be responsible, to lead, to serve his people, serve his community. It's quite possible. And I just wanted to, for anyone who is familiar with the Apocrypha, if you're not familiar with the Apocrypha, these are books that were in the original KJV, 1611 Bible. But I kind of wanted to just quickly go to a story, and it's a few pages in the Apocrypha in the Bible, but I wanted to just kind of highlight how a woman was still able to teach her sons to fear the Most High, to be strong. And I just want to show an example of what that outcome can look like. And someone mentioned something that was very profound and key also in the discussion, the Bridging the Gap. Even if a woman has to raise her son on her own, she has the word of the Most High to be that standard for what he should be doing, what she should be doing, of course, and every tool needed to teach him how to be righteous and how to be protective and loving. All of it is found in the word of the Most High. So even if there is no family member or friend to help guide and provide support, the word of the Most High is definitely available and should be consulted and used first and foremost to help guide in those situations and circumstances. So again, I'm going to a book in the Apocrypha, and this is 4th Maccabees. All right, so all right, let me pull this up online. It's not available in my, actually, let me see. Maybe I can, I don't know if this will still be live if I turn away from this on my phone. All right, reconnecting. All right, I'm back. Okay, so in this story, there was a mother who had 7 sons. I don't remember the father being mentioned. I don't know if the father was around. I don't know if something had befallen him to where he was no longer living. I don't know. I don't remember the father being mentioned. However, a woman and 7 sons, they were all brought before an evil tyrant. And this was the Gentile leader that was trying to make the children of Israel defile themselves and reject the ways of the Most High and defy the laws of the Most High and break commandments. So this mother and her 7 sons, they were brought and they were given an ultimatum. They either would eat pork, which is abominable. The Most High God tells us not to deal with that unclean meat. So they had that ultimatum. They could either eat pork or they could be tortured in the most cruel, heinous ways and eventually be killed. So even though this mother, she's a woman, she has, of course, emotions. Women have emotions and men do too, but we tend to express our emotions differently. So although she had these emotions as a mom, she had 7 sons. Each son stood tall, stood on the principles that their mother instilled in them, and each one resisted the pork to the point that each son saw each prior son being tortured, and each one went to the grave, went to the death saying, "I'd rather die than break the laws of the Most High God." At the very end, this wicked, cruel Gentile leader, after killing all the sons, comes to the mother, even after trying to persuade her to and use her emotions against her to try to discourage her sons from standing for the Most High's laws, which she refused. And she told them to be strong, stand tall, never disobey the laws of the Most High. And she was very proud of them. So at the very end, that cruel leader comes to her and says, "Okay, well, you saw what I did to your sons. You can save your own life if you eat this unclean meat, if you eat this pork." And although she was a woman, she watched all her sons die, and she encouraged them to stand on what she taught them, on the beliefs that she instilled in them, the word of the Most High. She herself did not cower. She herself did not bend or compromise what she stood on, her values, her beliefs, her faith. And she went just like her sons, choosing to obey the word of the Most High rather than fearing what a man could do to their bodies. So I just wanted to use this as encouragement, sisters. If you are in a situation or circumstance where you have to raise a young man, a boy, alone on your own, you can teach him in the ways of the Most High. You can teach him to be strong. You can teach him to be righteous. Teach him to be productive. You can do it. And if you have no one else around you in your family or your friends and social circles to help you and support you, you have the word of the Most High God. So I'll just leave it there and just say, I pray that families are edified by this. I really hope it has been useful or helpful to someone. But we definitely have strength given to us through the Most High. We don't have to lean on our own understanding. The word of the Most High gives us clear instructions what to do in all areas of life. And if we just stay true to his word, regardless of what's going on around us, regardless of what we encounter, his word is true and it's living, and we're blessed if we walk in it. So I'll just leave it there, pretty short and sweet, and just say thank you to OJ28 that entered the live studio over there in Podbean. Welcome. You're always welcome. And I don't know anything about you, but we welcome you and hope that something said has blessed you in some way. Just wanted to say for everyone out there on Instagram, hello. And I just look forward to more live shows. I pray that, again, this has really been blessed for someone. It blessed me, of course. And if anyone wants to participate in the Bridging the Gap forum, then I'll be posting the link. Sorry, I didn't post it this time. It was just a lot going on, but I'll definitely post it because we're looking to make this a monthly or bi-monthly event. So I'll be passing along information on Instagram. And I just pray that everyone out there is blessed. Again, this is Israelites United. Sister Yaya. We're live every Sunday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And definitely give support if there's any of our live shows over there at israelitesunited.podbean.com that you have not checked out. Go over there and check out some of our other live shows. We have a lot of good topics, and I just really feel like if someone's really truly into the Bible and if you're looking for encouragement, you should find something over there that's useful. We're definitely always looking to encourage and edify and strengthen our community. So, and if you ever want to come on as a guest, we always extend that invitation. Just hit us up on our social media on Podbean, israelitesunited.podbean.com, or Instagram or YouTube. We're on YouTube too. I'm actually about to put some content up on YouTube, some more content. So excited about that. But hey, that's it for today. And I just pray that everyone out there has a very blessed rest of their day, and just leave you with peace and blessings. Most High's willing. See you next week.